I'm worn out. It's got nothing left to give. What's that called? Diabetes. One lady came to me and said, Barbara, I've got insulin resistance. I said, oh, we can fix that in a few days. Did you hear that? How do you fix it? It's not rocket science, is it? Drop the carbs. There was no diabetes on the planet until sugar was well established. Hippocrates has no mention of it in his writings because 400 years BC, sugar wasn't refined and used anywhere near like it was today, even 100 years ago. And in his book, Sugar Blues, why is his book called Sugar Blues? Because sugar causes the blues. He actually says in his book there were no psychiatric institutions on the planet till sugar was well established. That's quite a statement. Because what does sugar cause? The blues. And our brain only has a 2-minute supply of glucose. So when a person gets a blood sugar level drop, how long before the brain's not working? 2 minutes. This is when the kids are bouncing off the wall. This is when they're scrapping and fighting and being disobedient. You want easy parenting? Don't give them sugar. And tomorrow when we look at the mind, I'll be looking at that even in a bit more detail. So sugar, it's one of the biggest culprits. But something else has come on the scene. Because sugar's been around for a long, long time, hasn't it? Over 100 years. Something else has happened. Let me tell you what that something else is. In the 1950s, wheat went through intensive crossbreeding to produce a plant that had a high yield. They wanted to save the starvation crisis in India, Africa, Mexico. Dr. Norman Bulag and his team, they successfully created a plant that only grows this high, has a thick stem and has a heavy yield. In fact, it only grows so high, some farmers can get 2 crops per season. Very popular. 1970s went worldwide. By the 1990s, every cereal, every bread, every cake, cookie, donut, every pretzel, every pasta, every pie, every pizza, what's it made out of? The hybridized wheat. Yesterday, I showed you the effect on the gluten, but I want to show you the effect on the starch today. Now, the starch that was created in this intensive crossbreeding is called amylopectin A. It's the starch, a type of starch in this hybridized wheat. And that amylopectin A gets the blood sugar level up very quick and very high. Let me give you an illustration. So quick up means quick down. Amylopectin B is found in bananas and potatoes. Now, if you are familiar with the glycemic index of foods, bananas and potatoes, they're quite high. So amylopectin B found in bananas and potatoes, the blood sugar level there would be like this. Not quite as high and not quite as low. Amylopectin C is the starch that's found in garbanzos, lentils, black-eyed beans, all your legumes. That gives a beautiful blood glucose, steady rise, steady down. I'll go a bit further. Which one does every cell in our body want? The nice, steady. What does our brain cell want? Nice, steady, consistent delivery of fuel. I make sure I eat the legumes so I get a nice, steady, consistent delivery of fuel so that I can give you the information that I need to give you. Understanding that, let me show you the glycemic index and show you what this means. The glycemic index, often called the GI scale, is a scale on how quickly the food breaks down to glucose in the blood. For instance, Your baseline is 55. Anything above 55 is considered high glycemic index. Anything below is considered low. Let me give you an illustration. Cherries are 26. Grapefruit, 25. And that's why cherries, berries, blueberries, blackberries, grapefruit, great fruit for diabetics, because you don't get this quick, sudden rise. You get a nice, slow delivery.